Yeah. I was in kindergarten, and we were on a field trip to Miami. I can't remember the museum. It's a museum that I don't even think exists anymore. But it was like my Florida and Miami history. And me and my cousin was there, Corey. He was standing next to me, and I was holding the door for these people that were walking behind us. And this one girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, she walked past me last. Corey was standing next to me while I was holding the door, and she turned around and she was like, "Thank you, nigger," and she kept going. So like I didn't even know what the word meant at the time. So me and Corey like we looked at each other like, okay. And then after school we got home. I asked Grandma what that word meant, and she tore me up. My grandma cursed me out. Why would you say that word? Like I didn't tell her the context. I just told her. I just asked her what the word meant, and she cursed me out. She screamed at me about it. Don't you use that word? It's a terrible word. Don't ever bring that in this house. And I actually saw Corey recently, and I came up because we were talking about his son who's getting to like kindergarten age, and he was worried about the racism that kid's gonna have to deal with. It's not up to you when you experience it for the first time, or you can't be there to protect your kid from it every day of their life.
But as a child, when I went to Korea for the first time, I was age 6 in 1989, and I went with my mother, and it was my first time going out of the country, but also being in a foreign country and meeting my mother's family for the first time. Back in those days, Asians were definitely prejudiced against any other race besides their own. So, and as a child, I didn't really see color. I didn't know what that was. I just knew that I had an Asian mom, I had a Korean mom, and a black dad. So, and for me, the color didn't matter. I was human. But when I went to Korea, it was quite an experience because they saw me. They would stop in the streets and stare. I recall people touching my hair, like what's going on? What is this? Like they've never seen this type of hair before, because Koreans have more finer, thinner hair, like my mother did, and it was just an awkwardness. I remember feeling like, why is people looking at me like I'm an alien? Like I remember thinking, why are people looking at me this way? They would talk to my mom in Korean, stop her in the street, talk to her in Korean, and just say, it was either a bad comment or something just unusual, like my eye shape. Hey, she may look like she has Korean, but she's mixed with something. They would try to figure out what I'm mixed with, and that to me, it kind of still sticks with me today because I just didn't really understand it. My family in Korea was the exception. There were very, very few Koreans who accepted other people of other races and colors, and they were very accepting of me. So that actually made me kind of feel less uneasy.
Okay, somewhere in grade school, and it was popular little girl, and all the little boys were vying for her attention. And I asked a friend if, maybe I had a chance. And he was like, no. I said, why? And then he was like, oh, because you're black. And I was like, really? That's why? But these other kids' shoes are dustier than mine. Their hair is unkept. But because I'm black, I am an automatic no.
I wouldn't say it's like my first, but one that's kind of sticks out the most is, I'll say like my 20s. I had like multiple cars, an Expedition with rims. I had a Bubba Chevy with music, and I actually like lived in Goose and in the Rancher area. And like I've got frequently stopped just based on the bias of, I guess they would say, people in that neighborhood are not allowed to have flashy things and things of that sort. I've been stopped and asking where the drugs are at because of the neighborhood or the color of my skin, or, you know, I always gave them my license, had all the proper documents, but to kind of be like judged based on whether it's your color, where you're living at, and things of that nature.
Yeah. I mean, you can't be there every time, every minute of every day. I can't protect her for the rest of her life. And she's a little bit of everything, so a lot of terrible words could get thrown her way from any number of directions, let alone actual violence. I am terrified of it happening to her. I would love to raise her in a world that she would never even know about this kind of stuff happening. But it's not my choice.
All the time. All the time. And they're growing up in hard times right now. My children may, again, just like me, they're of mixed, multiple ethnicities, and of different backgrounds, and they may not be dark toned, or they might not look like your typical black person. But let me tell you, they do learn about their African roots. They are being taught empowerment and really embracing who they are, because that's what I've had to do, embrace who I am, and really be in tune with that. And at any given moment, with all this violence that has been occurring with our black brothers and sisters, there's not a minute that when my kids are not with me, I do think about their safety if they're in the wrong place, wrong time, or even in our current situations at school right now. The kids are still taught, from home, to be disrespectful to kids of color. I've seen it firsthand as a school nurse, how we have not grown. We have not grown out of this racist society.
Sometimes, yes, because for the most part, I mean, my entire life, I've never had any kind of problem with the police or an authoritarian figure coming down on me because of my race. But I'm privileged in the way I look and the way I carry myself. So my experiences may not be the same with the police as some of my friends who might be a little bit darker or carry themselves a little more thuggish, ruggish like. So then I wonder, when I'm not here, I hope that if you ever, come into contact with some sort of police or authority, judge even, that they don't judge you based off of how you look and how you carry yourself, but the content of your character.
Well, yes, I most definitely do. Like, I'm a mother of 3 young men, ages 13, 15, and 16. And like, I emphasize with the oldest 2 a lot about society itself and their appearance and how to handle themselves, because even walking to the corner store, you never know what may happen. And even in society itself, like, there's so much going on. Even there's black on black crime, there's police brutality, everybody's getting judged for ignorance and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is Miami, and in high school, I grew my hair out, and everybody had 2 cents about that shit. When I was trying to get jobs, people had 2 cents about it. When I got a job, people had smart ass remarks. I used to work at the airport, so like, I was around everybody from everywhere, and my best friend used to work with me. He's Dominican, so he'd be standing next to me, and then people would be like talking about me in Spanish, and he would, it was funny him doing it, but he would be narrating the rude, racist shit that they would say. Like he would just lean over to me and be like, "They're talking about your hair. They say you look like you're gonna rob them. They say you look like you're a criminal. They want to know how you got this job." And it was funny because like they were speaking in Spanish and he was just narrating, but it was fucking terrible. And that was just hair. Like when I was, I think, 3rd grade, we moved to a neighborhood where I was the only black kid in the whole school. It was mostly Cuban and Puerto Rican immigrants, I guess, or 2nd or 3rd generation. But people definitely made sure to let me know. Like, stroke of luck, I had the only black teacher in the school. Maybe that was on purpose, maybe it was a condescending thing by administration, but she really, she looked out for me. Like, she was really, there for me for stuff that I didn't know I needed someone to be there for me for. Like, the kind of stuff where other teachers would have, microaggressions towards me, and she would give me the benefit of the doubt that they wouldn't. Just little stuff that you wouldn't think you needed, but thank God for that woman.
Growing up in the hood, I've had my share, my time in Carroll City. I've had my time in Parine and Richmond Heights and Goulds, and when I would hang out with my first cousins, all of them, all different shades of black, their friends would look at me in a certain way, and I was often called white a lot. I'm the white girl. Not even Asian at that point. I'm a white girl. And I just didn't really understand what that meant until I was older. People often have this perception of you, they a lot of the times, even to this day, they feel like they know my identity and who I am and who they feel that I should be, or what race I should identify with.
Absolutely. Back to grade school again. Some kids, hung out in certain groups and you think, oh, I'm cool too, I think I can hang out with them, and then they treat you different. Or being the token black guy.
Yeah, and schools, I would say yes. Actually, at kindergarten, I actually went to a private school. I think it was called First Baptist. And to be honest, I was the only black girl, and there was one black boy, but everyone else was, of white skin color. It wasn't my choice to go, but I did have parents, felt differently in a way, and that was my kindergarten year. It felt weird coming from a head start of all mixtures and being accepted to then go to a private school, and I didn't like my kindergarten year of school, and I really didn't want private school after that. After that, I never went to private school. So yeah, that's one.